क्लास का डिस्कशन क्या है जो टॉपिक? हाँ ठीक है, कैन चीट, ओपन बुक है। हाउ टू बिकम सक्सेसफुल इन योगा। नाउ जो हाथ उठाएगा वही आंसर करेगा। सबसे बेसिक क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ योगा? क्या? नो, नहीं वाले। Yes, Mataji.
To connect to Krishna.
Yeah, to connect with God. Yoga means to connect. Meditation is a means, one of the means to connect with God. But योगा का मतलब क्या होता है? नॉर्मली हम लोग के दिमाग में क्या आता है जब योगा देखते हो? योगा इंस्टीट्यूट, स्टूडियोज आजकल दिखते हैं ना, इवन वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड में ज़्यादा पॉपुलर है। योगा मीन्स फिजिकल एक्सरसाइजेस, बट दैट्स नॉट द मीनिंग ऑफ योगा। योगा का मतलब था यूज, टू कनेक्ट। एंड हाउ डू यू कनेक्ट टू गॉड? हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। सो दिस इज आवर मेथड और द भक्ति योगा मेथड ऑफ कनेक्टिंग विद गॉड। सो इसमें सक्सेस कैसे पाना है? टुडे दिस इज आवर डिस्कशन इन द चैप्टर। सो वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस फ्रॉम द फोर्थ वर्स ऑफ द फोर्थ चैप्टर, 15th वर्स ऑफ द गीता। अच्छा, बिना देखे अगेन ना, ओपन योर हैंड्स, थोड़ा वार्म अप करने के लिए ब्रेन्स। ओके, जो एक्सरसाइज में वार्म अप करते हैं ना, वैसे इन द क्लास, बिकॉज यू कम फ्रॉम एवरीवेयर। फोर्थ चैप्टर का टाइटल क्या है? इंग्लिश? ट्रांसेंडेंटल नॉलेज। थर्ड चैप्टर इज कर्म योग, फोर्थ चैप्टर इज ट्रांसेंडेंटल नॉलेज। नाउ व्हाई दिस वर्ड ट्रांसेंडेंटल से क्या समझते हो आप? व्हाट इज ट्रांसेंडेंटल? Yeah, you go beyond that. So this knowledge which we are discussing is transcendental knowledge. Clear? So we'll start with some prayers and then we start the class. Om Ajnana Tirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunam Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पास्ते सदेश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। सो इस फर्स्ट तो क्लास का स्ट्रक्चर वही होगा कि पहले वर्स करेंगे, रीड द ट्रांसलेशन एंड देन पर्पट रीड करके देन वी स्टार्ट द डिस्कशन। फाइन? कितनों के पास भगवद गीता है मोबाइल पे? सो प्लीज दैट विल हेल्प। सो एवं ज्ञानत्व कृतिम कर्म पूर्वीर आपी मुमुक्षुभि कुरु कर्मैव तस्मत्वयं पूर्वे पूर्वोत्तरम कृतम। एवं thus ज्ञानत्व knowing well, कृतम was performed, कर्म work, Purve by past authorities, Api indeed, Mumukshubhi who attained liberation, Kuru just, perform, Karma prescribed duty, Eva certainly, Tasmat therefore, Tvam you, Purve by the predecessors, Purvataram in ancient times, Kritam as performed. Translation: all the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. There are two classes of men. Some of them are full of polluted material things within their hearts, and some of them are materially free. Krishna consciousness is equally beneficial for both of these persons. Those who are full of dirty things can take to the line of Krishna consciousness for a gradual cleansing process, following the regulative principles of devotional service. Those who are already cleansed of the impurities may continue to act in the same Krishna consciousness so that others may follow their exemplary activities and thereby be benefited. Foolish persons or neophytes in Krishna consciousness often want to retire from activities without having knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Arjuna's desire to retire from activities on the battlefield was not approved by the Lord. One need only know how to act. To retire from the activities of Krishna consciousness and to sit aloof making a show of Krishna consciousness is less important than actually engaging in the field of activities for the sake of Krishna. Arjuna is here advised to act in Krishna consciousness following in the footsteps of the Lord's previous disciples, such as the sun god Vivaswan, as mentioned herein before. The Supreme Lord knows all his past activities as well as those of persons who acted in Krishna consciousness in the past. Therefore, he recommends the acts of the Sun God who learned this art from the Lord some millions of years before. All such students of Lord Krishna are mentioned here as past liberated persons engaged in the discharge of the duties allotted by Krishna. So, anybody remembers the start of the Bhagavad Gita? Why Krishna is speaking the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? What was the reason? One by one. Hands up.
Sorry.
Okay, you say now.
Because the knowledge was lost.
Nahi. Why Krishna is telling to Arjuna specifically? One of the reasons is knowledge. हाँ, वो surrender उससे पहले.
Because he was lamenting.
So yeah, lamenting. So Arjuna didn't wanted to fight, or he wanted to become what? Sannyasi. And then Krishna says the Bhagavad Gita to him. कि premature sannyas or anything is also harmful. And why this is so? Because एक human का tendency होता है. Can you, if you also want to relax for one day, कर सकते हो? कोई without activity can you live? Without breathing can you live? Eating maybe you can survive a day. There are some days. But without breathing, you will keep on doing some activity. Mentally तो आप करते ही रहते हो. So that's why you can never renunciate this. So this why purport में, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning this. कि artificial, it's a बहुत बड़ा misconception है कि Krishna consciousness में आते हो तो आप, you become a sadhu. It's not that way. 95% of the members are actually working outside. Only 5% or 3% और उससे भी कम का number होगा कि they would be actually doing as brahmacharis in the temple. So actually you can engage anywhere. So that's a very big misconception. सुना है आपने कि मंदिर जा रहे हो साधु बन जाएगा? But that's not what Krishna is saying. Because ये ignorance है. This is ignorance because किसी ने भगवद गीता कितने लोग ने पढ़ी है? If you ask in your circle को सब किसी ने सुना सबने है. But why भगवद गीता is a holy text पूछेगे कि it's very important ना सबसे sacred text है Hindus का so called. Yes, yeah, please come. So बोलते हैं कि बहुत sacred. What is the sacredness of Bhagavad Gita? It puts you in a real understanding. कि who are you? You're not this body, you're not this, you're the spirit soul. The first lesson जो अर्जुना को मिलता है कि देहिनो अस्मिन् यथा देह. You are not this body, you are a spirit soul. And soul cannot be destroyed. That's the first lesson of the Bhagavad Gita. And why this is so important? Because वरना आपकी सारी activities during the day is related to your body. Right? Everything that you do, except for your chanting and spiritual life, बाकी तो everything you're nourishing your body. That's what you're doing. So that's why this knowledge is very important. Just imagine कि you're traveling in a train, Rajdhani or Vande Bharat, चलो that's a new one. Say Bombay to कहाँ पे अहमदाबाद. Okay, तो जब आपका अहमदाबाद स्टेशन आएगा तो क्या होगा? You can't refuse, right? Similarly, this body, we get a body, we are a small baby, and then the whole cycle, teenage, youth, middle age, old age. That's how it is, right? And you cannot take anything away. But still you are focusing, everybody focuses, you are so attached to the body. And उसकी वजह से आप सब काम करते हो, but your greed and everything. Lust, anger, greed, जो बोलते हैं, the gateways to hell. But what happens is, at the end of the day, can you take anything away with you? Not even this shirt. Or whatever you're wearing. You can't take anything. Why? So that's the biggest fact. That's why this knowledge is very important. So, what Krishna is saying in this verse is, all liberated souls in ancient times, with the understanding of my transcendental nature. Whose transcendental nature? Krishna. So, Krishna is the creator of the three worlds, if you read in the Bhagavad Gita. But he is not affected by it. But we are affected. Right? So, a question to everybody, how do we take birth? What is the reason कि हम जो भी जिस conditions में पैदा होते हो कैसे होते हैं? Okay. Right. Anything else? Yeah, desire, karmas, जो past karmas पे होते हैं. And how do you get the next body? Whatever you think at the time of death, that's the next body that you are going to get. So karma में, since we are there in karma में भी तीन चीज़ होते हैं. Karma, vikarma, akarma. These three important points are there. So karma is whatever activity you do to. So every action has equal and yes. So even if you don't want, we are doing karmas. Even कितना भी precaution करो आप, you're killing animal, दही खाते हो तो उसमें bacteria को you're killing, you know, all that thing. So you get all that reactions. So how do you best get out of this? Is by surrendering everything to the Lord. So that is vikarma. No, sorry, that is akarma. Akarma. Vikarma is bad in against the scriptures, that activity that you do. So you have to do akarma. You have to come to that stage. इसलिए if you look at this, इसमें all liberals in ancient times were doing this transcendental form. So what happened between the start of the Bhagavad Gita and end of the Bhagavad Gita? क्या हुआ था? अर्जुना ने fight तो किया, but he fought in what way? A very big important lesson. Arjuna fought the Mahabharata war. Starting he was not ready to fight. But what changed in him during the Bhagavad Gita was spoken?
Everything surrendered to Krishna.
Yes, he did as a surrender to Krishna. So that is what we have to learn. कि whatever activity we are doing, उसको छोड़ना नहीं है. We have to do in a matter of surrender. Clear? And how do you surrender? Now that's the question. How do you surrender your activities to Krishna?
We do that is totally for Krishna.
Right. So how your college studying, you'll use it for Krishna.
Yes, by earning and by sponsoring. Donation and all.
Yes. Okay. Anything else? Surrender कैसे करोगे in day-to-day activities आपके?
कुछ भी काम करना है कृष्णा को करना.
Okay. You'll remember Krishna through today. Yes, Mataji.
Thinking that Krishna is the doer.
Okay. And when your boss is shouting at you?
Offering the results of our knowledge.
Yes. पर सपोज एकदम ये तो ठीक है एकदम परफेक्ट आइडियल सिनारियो में व्हेन द हीटेड सिचुएशन हो जाता है देन व्हाट यू विल डू आई एम जस्ट थिंकिंग बिकॉज ये प्रैक्टिकली हमें अप्लाई करना है दैट्स व्हाई आई एम डिस्कसिंग दिस
Whatever is happening for my best.
सो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग टू यू इज हैपनिंग बिकॉज ऑफ योर पास्ट कर्मस एंड यू शुड ऑलवेज थिंक दैट वे कि जब डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन आती है तभी आप भक्ति थोड़ी वीक हो जाती है एंड दैट हैपन्स टू एवरीबडी सो देन एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम यू हैव टू थिंक दैट दिस इज हैपनिंग बिकॉज ऑफ माई पास्ट कर्मास पर इसका इफेक्ट और हो सकता था बट उसको मेरे को बहुत छोटा इफेक्ट मिल रहा है तो रिमेंबर द किंग का स्टोरी किंग एंड मिनिस्टर का सर फॉर एवरीबडी आई थिंक आई विल रिपीट इट सो देयर वाज अ किंग और उसका मिनिस्टर था मिनिस्टर मतलब एडवाइजर यूज्ड टू ऑलवेज से कि यू नो जो भी होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है सो किंग का हाथ कट गया कुछ प्रैक्टिस कर रहा था एंड हिज इन थंब गॉट इंजर्ड सो ही सेड मिनिस्टर सेड जो भी होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है किंग गॉट रियली एंग्री इमेजिन यू गेट हर्ट और कोई ऐसा बोले यू लाइक टू हिट दैट पर्सन एंड इफ यू आर इन अ पावर पोजिशन सो यू कैन डू इट सो उसको जेल में डाल दिया सो देन व्हाट हैपेंड वाज कि किंग वॉज गोइंग फॉर हंटिंग सो यू नो अभी पुराने ज़माने में प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए दे यूज टू हंट वाइल्ड एनिमल्स सो व्हाट हैपेंड ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम वॉज कि उसको इसने एक सेकेंड गेटिंग अ कॉल हाँ उसको आदिवासी लोग ने पकड़ लिया इन द फॉरेस्ट एंड दे पुट हिम कि हाँ विल पुट द किंग इन सैक्रिफाइस और उसको रख के सैक्रिफाइस मतलब बलि देने वाले थे उसकी एंड एट दैट टाइम किसी एक ने देख लिया कि उसके हाथ में बैंडेज है तो बोला ये तो खंडित है इफेक्ट तो उसको छोड़ दिया वो खुश हो गया आया वापस मिनिस्टर के पास और बोला इमीडिएटली इसको निकालो इसने जो भी बोला था अच्छे के लिए मतलब तो देन ही सेड मैंने तेरे साथ इतना बुरा किया यू नो आई डिड सो मच बैड थिंग कि तेरे को डाल दिया एक छोटी सी बात के लिए इन द फिट ऑफ एंगर बट स्टिल यू नेवर रिवोल्टेड तूने मेरे अगेंस्ट नहीं बोला तो इसने बोला अच्छा है ना तुमने मेरे को जेल में डाल दिया वरना मैं आपके साथ होता और अगर आपके मैं साथ होता तो क्या हाँ तो मेरी बलि जाती थी सो दैट्स हाउ यू गॉट टू रिमेंबर इन व्हेनेवर यू नो अ डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन हैपेंस इन योर लाइफ यू हैव टू सीक इट्स अ हैंड ऑफ कृष्णा व्हेन यू आर डूइंग ए साधना वेल ऐसा नहीं कि चैंटिंग भी नहीं कर रहे एंड देन यू आर डूइंग दैट सो व्हेन अ डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन अराइजेस तो क्या करना चाहिए
कृष्णा को surrender.
यू शुड चैंट मोर सरेंडर तो करोगे बट यू शुड चैंट मोर बिकॉज दैट्स वेयर यू रिक्वायर द मैक्सिमम सेवा इन द सेंस यू नो स्पिरिचुअल मर्सी क्लियर ये पॉइंट Now second thing about good about bhakti is, इसमें जो first part of the purport में है कि even for materially degraded people, materially degraded मतलब they have no consciousness, they can still practice Krishna consciousness. But ये अब और कोई process में नहीं कर सकते हो. Can you tell a person who is very intoxicated कि meditation करो? कभी किसी को advice किया है कि एकदम intoxicated situation में करो? They'll never do it. वरना अदर प्रोसेस में यू हैव टू गो टू द फॉरेस्ट एंड मेडिटेट, जैसे ध्रुव महाराज ने किया था. एंड पूरा एंट हिल हो गया था एंड ही डिड वेरी ऑस्टेरिटीज, मतलब ही वॉज लिविंग ऑन एयर, जस्ट प्रैक्टिकली लिविंग ऑन एयर. कैन वी डू दैट? ज्ञान, ये तो ज्ञान योग के मार्ग में. कैन यू रीड द बुक्स? कितनों ने ये 1000 पेज की भगवद गीता एंड टू एंड पढ़ी है? हाँ, how many? अच्छा, half पढ़ी, 500 pages. चलो, that's good. So even we can't read this Bhagavad Gita, मतलब still it takes time. तो ज्ञान मार्ग में you have to read so many books and then come to the conclusion, which is possible in this age where attention span is coming down rapidly. मतलब how many of you read daily on a daily basis Prabhupada के books? Good. How many pages roughly? छोटी बुक्स के चैप्टर्स की भागवतम के?
Krishna and Bhagavad.
Okay. Yeah, so you can't read that. So that's why this process of bhakti is very easy for everybody. And this we have seen practically. Ki when Prabhupada went to America, so there were drug addicts who actually took up this movement. Heavily into drugs. But still they took up this movement. Why? Because they found some satisfaction. So hippies became happies. So this is the process of Krishna consciousness. Ki when you do that, you actually come to enjoy. So there are so many people assembled, on a Saturday. And still, what do you get of hearing the lectures? आज तो एकादशी है, तो if you say रसगुल्ले का description तो बहुत tasty है. But you want the taste exactly, right? But कृष्णा कथा में ऐसा नहीं है. You just listen and it's so, nice to hear. होता है कि नहीं कृष्णा कथा when you hear? Logically, it's a very foolish thing कि किसी के glory सुनना. But when you hear this, you want to hear more and more. And that's what seen with devotees also. कि they're involved for 40, 50 years and still they want to do the same service. होता है कि नहीं? So any questions till now? Any questions? So there was this Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who was a Acharya. So can you tell the lineage कैसा है? Was Acharya na lineage? Somebody can share the lineage? Reverse, Prabhupada से. बस, that's fine. So he said a very interesting thing. He was a judge in the High Court. कितनों के पास टाइम नहीं है भक्ति प्रैक्टिस करने का? क्या शॉर्ट ऑफ टाइम? So the Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he was a court judge and he written so many books on Krishna consciousness. I don't remember the exact number. किसी को पता है तो बताना. Or you can Google it and say. But he has written so many books on Krishna consciousness. He found out Mayapur का जो temple है अभी. So that place, Yog Peeth, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on, he actually identified that. And still he was a district judge at that point of time, Puri ke. So he had a very interesting concept कि गृहस्थी में रह के how you can practice Krishna consciousness. So he used to say कि I am working for Krishna's household. When you are studying or you are doing any activity, his mindset was I am working for Krishna's household. It's not my household. That's why I am working. So that's how you connect your daily activities to Krishna. So whatever you are doing for Krishna. How do maintenance ho gaya, whatever activity that you are doing, you are running a factory, you are doing a job, you are studying, whatever stage you are in, you are doing to run the household of Krishna. That's what it is. Then your ashram, your home can become an ashram. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult. कि थोड़ा सा भी कोई challenge आया तो what will happen is you will falter on the way. होता है कि नहीं ऐसा? So then there is another important thing here. कि liberated souls. What do you mean by liberated souls? They carry a tag. But how do you know the absolute truth? उनको पता है. How do you know a liberated soul? आप पहचानोगे कैसे?
They are not attached.
Okay. But they can show ना कि they are not attached.
They are always in our mind. Everything is one for them.
हाँ. But you have to be there. Check करना पड़ेगा ना.
They are always in a happy mood.
You have to stay with them or observe them. Come on. More answers. There are many people in the public.
They
Come.
don't identify with this material.
But how will you know?
Actually, it's very difficult.
Yes, that's the
Like
challenge.
the person is, if someone is in sattva या tamas, जो निजी है मतलब, so that distinction also is difficult to be done. So I think on similar lines this would be
Okay.
difficult, but
Thank you, Dilip Prabhu. So he's saying कि पहले तो first we should know what liberation is, right? Correct understanding of the liberation. So today जैसे एकादशी fast है, lot of people say मैं बिना पानी के रहता हूँ, right? You'll say हाँ मैं बहुत तपस्या कर रहा हूँ ये. But what is the purpose of this fast?
Remembering Krishna as much as we can.
So objective is remembering Krishna, not increasing your ego, right? कि मैंने इतना पानी बिना पानी के बिना जल के रह रहा हूँ. That is good if you can do it. But अगर नहीं हो रहा है तो still you shouldn't increase your ego. So how do you know a liberated soul? He'll always talk about Krishna. The change of heart will happen. That is a very important thing. और उसके लिए आपको पता होना चाहिए कि liberated soul कौन सा होता है. If one who has many followers, still can you say that he is a liberated person? It's how your change of heart happens. What is the impact? That is very important. और उसके लिए खुद को liberated soul पता होना चाहिए. What is liberation all about? So that is the most important thing. Otherwise क्या होगा कि कोई भी दिखा देगा, externally anybody can dress these days and show कि I'm this, that. But you'll never get the real purpose. Clear? तो अभी कैसे पहचानोगे liberated soul कैसा है?
Study करके कोई
पढ़ेंगे भगवद गीता सब? हाँ? और सब स्टंट साइलेंस है. Either lecture boring है कि हाँ? So you have to know who is a liberated soul. So here it says is कि you have to do every activity for service of Krishna. And what does happens when you do, so when you are doing your spiritual sadhana properly? क्या होता है? What happens when you do your spiritual sadhana properly?
purifies the mind.
Purifies the mind. And what is mind purification? And we define in Krishna consciousness.
Krishna consciousness.
always thinking about Krishna.
So you are attracted more to chanting. कोई devotional activity करने का आपका मन ज़्यादा करेगा. Either to read, to listen to kirtan, sing kirtans, to chant more, to be more involved. That's how you become more and more attracted to Krishna. That is a spiritual barometer. कि आपकी साधना अच्छी चल रही है. So you have to check that. कि every there is a good concept कि every एकादशी to एकादशी you should have a check. जैसे हर चीज़ में you do a check ना. जैसे इनकम टैक्स का एडवांस टैक्स फाइल करना होता है. Every quarter. वैसे every एकादशी to एकादशी you should have a check about your spiritual life. कि how that spiritual life is moving. होगा? Can we take this as a practice? Every एकादशी, because that's a good time to do analyze. कि whether I've read so many, whether I'm getting attracted to Krishna, away from Krishna. That is a check that you have to keep. होगा? So next एकादशी maybe we can discuss. Sorry, Prabhu?
धन्यवाद प्रभु जी.
Yes.
धन्यवाद प्रभु जी. Thanks for giving this.
Yeah, so every...
That check point, yeah.
Yeah, because that is very important. Now, एक और important concept है शास्त्र चक्षु. Anybody knows?
Seeing through the scriptures.
Seeing through the eyes of the scriptures. So that's very important. When we are coming to this class now, so you have to look everything to the eyes of the scriptures. कि जैसे every challenging situation हो रही है, वो क्यों हो रही है? Because this is of my past karmas. That's the understanding. So anything happens by luck. It's a very debatable topic, but बताओ, anything happens by luck. I mean, if you look at karma theory, पता है आपको तो. प्रारब्ध.
Can we say destine?
यस, तो वो प्रारब्ध कर्म होता है. प्रीवियस लाइफ्स के प्रारब्ध करना.
Lucky can be linked to destiny.
हाँ, प्रारब्ध कर्म फ्रूटिफिकेशन विद. इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू हैव अ एग्जैक्ट मैपिंग एज सच, बट देन यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि ये प्रारब्ध की वजह से हुआ है और योर ओन एफर्ट इज देयर. बट इन दिस लाइफ टाइम यू हैव अ चॉइस कि जैसे टुडे यू हैड अ चॉइस, यू कैन कम टू अ प्रोग्राम, यू कैन गो एनीवेयर एल्स ऑल्सो. You took that choice to coming to this program, right? So that's how you have a choice. That is there in the current. But जो past activities का जो भी fruits मिलेगा, that's where you can't decide. मतलब वो प्रारब्ध हो सकता है, anything can happen. मतलब it's very difficult to quantify that. But why this is very important is कि when this you can use in your connection with Krishna. Then you know कि it's happening because of my prarabdha. Then Krishna might take the effect. So जो story king और minister की discuss किए थे हमने, इसमें भी होता कि उसका प्रारब्ध होगा, इसलिए द होल सिचुएशन पैंड आउट. जैसे प्रभुपाद, ही वॉज अ प्योर डिवोटी, बट डिड ही फेस चैलेंजेस और नॉट? आई मीन एटलीस्ट प्रभुपाद को तो बोल सकते हैं ना, एकदम प्योर डिवोटी थे. 69 में कोई जा रहा है, एंड डूइंग प्रीचिंग एंड ऑल, बट स्टिल ही फेस सो मेनी चैलेंजेस, बट डिड ही गो अवे फ्रॉम कृष्णा? So when he landed in America, normally people see nice buildings and all, and the praise, "Arey wah, ye itna अच्छा है, life is so comfortable." He said they are complicating their lives more and more. कि जितना complication और करते जाओ, जितना convenience बढ़ते जाएगा, उतना problems भी बढ़ते जाएगी. हुआ कि नहीं? The advancement of phone, the life is sorted or more challenging. AI आने के बाद so now even more kids, you're dependent on so much on that. पहले फ़ोन नंबर्स याद होते थे, अभी कितने फ़ोन नंबर्स याद है? इनफैक्ट खुद का नंबर भी याद नहीं होता है, पता है कभी कभी. दैट्स द चैलेंज. सो इट्स टेकन अवे योर मेमोरी. पहले नंबर्स याद ही रखने पड़ते थे, यू डोंट हैव अ चॉइस. जिन्होंने टेलीफोन पीसीओ होता था, आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू नो आल्सो कि एक पीसीओ करके कॉन्सेप्ट होता था. यस, एंड दैट वाज देयर. अभी नंबर्स सब याद रहते थे, अभी किसी को नंबर्स याद रहते हैं क्या? एंड विद एआई कमिंग तो अभी आपको नॉलेज का भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगा. यू हैव टू जस्ट नो हाउ टू एक्सट्रैक्ट नॉलेज. बट द ओनली थिंग दैट एआई कांट डू इज कंट्रोल योर माइंड. दैट यू हैव टू हैव कंट्रोल ओवर. वरना व्हाट विल हैपन इज यू विल स्पेंड योर फुल टाइम ऑन फोन्स और कंप्यूटर्स और व्हाटएवर मीडियम इट इज दैट. So that's why, और enlightenment तुम्हारा ही काम रहेगा. So liberation would be your responsibility. You can't outsource to an AI. Possible है कोई AI का expert है यहाँ पे? हाँ? नहीं. So any other questions? Or we take the next verse. Take the next verse.
So yeah.
Yeah, tell me.
Prabhuji, I have heard many people who are delegating even chatting.
Liberation.
So no, not liberation. I am just sharing that
Okay.
I have seen people who actually give some dakshina to pandit and all, and they actually make them do the chanting or whatever basically. So I don't understand how that's possible.
I tell you out. वो karmically for some benefit you can do, but liberation के लिए you have to sit for meditation. You can't say, "Oh, Guru's mercy is there." That is another thing, but you have to find that Guru then. Any other questions? So we take the next verse. Text number 16. Kim karma kim akarmiti kavayo api atra mohita tatte karma pravakshyami yaj jnanatva mokshaya subha. Kim, what is? Karma, action. Kim, what is? Akarma, inaction. Iti, thus. Kavaya, the intelligence. Api, also. Atra, in this matter. Mohita, are bewildered. Tat, that. Te, unto you. Karma, work. Prayakshami, I shall explain. Yat, which. Jnanatva, knowing. Mokshasya, you will be liberated. Asubhat, from ill fortune. So even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. एक इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट है यहाँ पे बिफोर वी रीड द पर्पट. व्हाट इज मिसफॉर्चून? मिसफॉर्चून इन अ स्पिरिचुअल कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्या होता है?
away from Krishna.
Okay.
Yes. Associations
ओके सो एक वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट टू नो, मटेरियल प्रॉब्लम्स और स्पिरिचुअल प्रॉब्लम में फ़र्क क्या है?
सर जब हम मटेरियल प्रॉब्लम में ऐसा होता है, मैंने देखा एक चीज़ है कि जब हम मटेरियलिस्टिक होते हैं तो हम स्पिरिचुअल की तरफ जाने की कोशिश करते हैं, लेकिन जब हम स्पिरिचुअल होते हैं तो हम मटेरियलिस्टिक चीज़ों को छोड़ना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है, मतलब
ओके
उस साइड जाने की कोशिश करते हैं।
सो जस्ट टू डिफाइन, सो मटेरियल प्रॉब्लम्स आर या हेल्थ, वेल्थ, रिलेशनशिप्स, मनी, 3-4 चीज़ों में यू कैन जस्ट उसी के प्रॉब्लम्स हो गए ब्रॉडली। वैदिक प्रॉब्लम्स क्या है जो मिसफॉर्चून बोलते हैं? मिसफॉर्चून इज बर्थ, डेथ, ओल्ड एज, डिजीज। सो व्हेन वी से जैसे मिसफॉर्चून है तो बर्थ, डेथ, ओल्ड एज, डिजीज इज अ मिसफॉर्चून। वाई? बिकॉज यू हैव टू गेट आउट ऑफ दिस साइकिल, वरना आप ये चलते रहेगा आपके जीवन में। यू विल टेक बर्थ, बर्थ लेना इज नॉट अ वेरी इजी थिंग, 9 months इन द वूम, वो भी एक कन्फाइंड स्पेस में। अगर सोचो आपको ये रूम में 10 दिन रहना पड़े और कहीं बाहर नहीं जाने को मिले, वुड यू स्टे? So when you are born, it has to be in a womb of the mother, and very difficult, right? तो वो हम भूल जाते हैं बर्थ के बाद। That's stated in the भागवतम कि we forget, वो forgetfulness आता है। So वैदिक के अनुसार that is the problem कि you have to take birth again and again, क्योंकि again you have to go through the same set of problems। कुछ ना कुछ अलग अलग फॉर्म में you will have to do, you have to। So the real liberation, और वो बोलते हैं कि getting out of the cycle of birth and death, दैट इज़ द रियल थिंग इन वैदिक। क्योंकि आप कितना भी कर लो कुछ, यू वॉट एवर यू डू, यू हैव टू डाई। एंड इनफैक्ट एप्पल के फाउंडर का सॉरी वॉज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग स्टेटमेंट, ही वर्कड ऑल हिज लाइफ, क्रिएटेड सच अ बिग फॉर्चून एंड ऑल, बट उसका देखा था लास्ट का फेस कैसा था, ही वाज बिकम सो वीक एंड ही नीडेड समवन। So that's the fact कि 90% of people are looking for wealth, and what happens is कि you can't enjoy your wealth also, or wealth even cannot buy your one day also, in that sense. So इसमें लिखा है कि in fact भागवतम में it's written कि the number of breaths you take वो भी decided है. So that is decided from before. So it's limited. आपका ये time limited है. वही ना example था, मुंबई से अहमदाबाद जा रहे हो by वंदे भारत, तो अगर आपका अहमदाबाद स्टेशन आ गया, you have to go. So when your breaths are over, you have to leave this body. There is no choice, even if you get the best. और वो कोविड में क्लासिक देखा है कि nobody knew कि where it's hit and people lost their lives. Unfortunate thing, but that's a fact. तो इसलिए वैदिक प्रॉब्लम जब डिफाइन करते हैं तो ये है, you have to get out this cycle of birth, death, old age, disease. Clear? Misfortune क्या होता है? So purport. Action in Krishna consciousness has to be executed in accord with the examples of previous bona fide devotees. This is recommended in the 15th verse. Why such action should not be independent will be explained in the text to follow. To act in Krishna consciousness, one has to follow the leadership of authorized persons who are in the line of disciplic succession as explained in the beginning of this chapter. The system of Krishna consciousness was narrated to the sun god. The sun god explained this to his son Manu. Manu explained it to his son Ivakashu, and the system is current on this earth from that very remote time. Therefore, one has to follow in the footsteps of previous authorities in the line of disciplic succession. Otherwise, even the most intelligent men will be bewildered regarding the standard actions of Krishna consciousness. For this reason, the Lord decided to instruct Arjuna in Krishna consciousness directly. Because of the direct instruction of the Lord to Arjuna, anyone who follows in the footsteps of Arjuna is certainly not bewildered. So the whole point in this para is how the succession happened, and why Krishna is explaining to Arjuna ताकि Krishna consciousness real angle में हो. Now what happens is कि there are many commentaries in Bhagavad Gita. उसमें they try to put their own layer of this. That's why when Prabhupada has written the Bhagavad Gita, तो उसमें title ही दिया as it is. Because क्या कभी कोई author जब book लिखता है तो he wants you to understand from his perspective. So Krishna, because you said in the starting ना कि Arjuna was his friend and he was submissive, that's why he could understand this knowledge कि what Krishna was saying. So that's why we have to follow and understand this Bhagavad Gita from the angle of Arjuna or through surrender. एक होता है ना कि थोड़ा faith लगता है कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में, जैसे when you chant और बोले कृष्णा है कि नहीं, अगर डाउट रहा तो will you be able to chant? हाँ? So imagine Western devotees जिनको पहले कृष्णा का कोई कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं था. We are talking 60s now. जहाँ पे बुक्स नहीं थी, इंटरनेट, नॉन इंटरनेट वर्ल्ड, जिधर you don't know anything about them. And they started chanting and they fall in the transformation of the heart. So this is not for any specific religion as such. This is eternal. These principles are eternal. If you follow it, you will have a change of the heart. इसलिए ना there is a word, जीवारे स्वरूप होए कृष्णारे नित्य दास. That this Krishna consciousness is there in everybody, but you have to fire it. And how do you get fired? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So when you see people coming to the temple first time, and they become happy when they hear Kirtan. ये सेम हुआ था when Prabhupada, I think in the garden का नाम बोल रहा हूँ, Tompkins Square, I think is the name. Tompkins Square था ना? Tompkins Square में he just started playing the Kirtan. And धीरे धीरे सब musicians, if somebody was playing a guitar around, everybody started coming, or they did a 2-3 hours of Kirtan. And they didn't know each other and what the sound was, but just chanting changed their hearts, transformed their hearts. That's why Prabhupada ने instruction दिया था. He sent 4 Grahastha disciples to London. Okay, he spread this mission in Krishna consciousness. So they came to Prabhupada, and Shyam Sundar Prabhu थे और Malti Mata जी थे, I think so. I don't remember many devotees' names. तो इसमें बोले, how do we spread? So he said, just chant, give the books, and you'll see a transformation of heart. And that's what happened. They just chanted Hare Krishna, they just gave the mantra, or famous, I think so, Beatles ने song भी किया था. They made a song also of this. So it's, I'm forgetting the song's name. कोई remember करता है? Beatles का song है My Sweet Lord. You can check on YouTube. So the song is My Sweet Lord. उसमें end में Hare Krishna आता है. So इसमें the song goes like this. I want to know you. God, I want to know you and all. And end में Hare Krishna आता है. So you can listen to that. My Sweet Lord करके. So that was there. So that's how, by chanting has so potent कि it ignites Krishna consciousness in your heart. And if Krishna consciousness was not there in your heart, it's very difficult to ignite. But if you see devotees, lakhs and lakhs people come, just by seeing Krishna, they get attracted to it. पहले वृंदावन में भी अभी तो it's like thousands of people are coming. पहले इतना भीड़ नहीं था when I started when I went first time 2003-04 इतना नहीं था. But now it's like lakhs and lakhs of people are coming there. Why? Because this is the natural thing for the soul. Just like fish को आप कुछ भी करो पर पानी के बाहर निकालो, what will happen? It will die. So similarly for us, soul को nourish नहीं करो and you nourish your body and everything, you'll never be happy. External happiness होता है. So how many of you want happiness? Okay, clear? Temporary or permanent? Pakka? And how do you get permanent happiness? Pakka? So by connecting with Krishna. And how do you connect with Krishna? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But you have to learn from a proper disciplic succession. And that was the contribution of Prabhupada. He never said कि I am God. He said Krishna is God. In fact, society का नाम International Society for God Consciousness बोला था. कि with that what will happen is कि ज़्यादा लोग आएंगे. Krishna के specific हो जाता है. But Prabhupada was very adamant कि नहीं, it's Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's why he said International Society of Krishna Consciousness. So that's his contribution. Any questions? So I'll just read the purport. It is said that one cannot ascertain the ways of religion simply by imperfect experiential knowledge. So I'll just stop here. Experiential knowledge. आजकल नया चला हुआ है कि न्यू एज स्पिरिचुअलिटी. कितनों ने सुना है वर्ड न्यू एज स्पिरिचुअलिटी? सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि बोलते हैं मैं अपना खुद रास्ता ढूंढूंगा स्पिरिचुअलिटी में. बट वी हैव अ प्रॉब्लम. कोई बता सकता है ह्यूमन के 4 डिफेक्ट्स? लाउडली प्रोन टू मेक मिस्टेक्स. मैं रिपीट कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज ऑनलाइन के लिए दैट्स ओनली. Propensity to cheat. Imperfect senses. So when you try spirituality, okay, so we just again repeat. So we have propensity to cheat, imperfect senses. So our conclusions are not clear. मतलब it will always be colored. जैसे होता है ना कि dogs whisper होता है एक. So dogs communicate between themselves ना वो frequency जो होती है we can't hear. But dogs can hear. So ये हमारे senses जो है these are not perfect. And what you said the first two वाले prone to make mistakes. Anybody जो किसी ने mistake नहीं की है यहाँ पे? और second वाला क्या था? The last वाला? Forgetfulness. So we forget. So the classic forgetfulness. So you forget. So इसलिए when you try to, you know, there are a lot of people who say कि I can find my own path and all. उसमें ये 4 defects होते हैं. So what will happen? Imperfect equation का result क्या निकलेगा? H2 अगर suppose imperfect होता तो water stable मिलता आपको? या gravity का law कहीं apply होता कहीं apply नहीं होता? Imagine this, 4 लोग उड़ रहे चाहे बाकी बैठे. So that's why when you try to, you have to follow the parampara. And a lot of people not typically, you know, it's difficult to follow authority. होता है ना? Listening to your school teacher, listening to your, you know, boss, or listening to your customers. Easy or difficult job है? It's you take you know, commands easily. नहीं, you resist and all. So that's why when you talk about spirituality, you have to follow. और 3 चीज़ का हमेशा हेल्प लेना, गुरु, साधु, शास्त्र. So don't take it blindly, but follow this. Guru, so Prabhupada is a guru, you know. Sadhu, who is practicing the process, and third is shastra. तीनों का प्रमाण लेके any activity that you do. So then you will be safe. Otherwise, Maya is very strong. It can, you know, take away anywhere. So you can go in a flash. आपका कहीं पे भी mind चले जा सकता है. होता है कि नहीं? So that's why we got to know this. तो एक बार आपको पहले equation पता होगा कि ये puzzle है, तो then you can better understand it. So that is there. So I'll read the last part. Actually, the principle of religion can only be laid down by the Lord Himself. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad paritram. No one can manufacture a religious principle by imperfect speculation. One must follow in the footsteps of great authorities like Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Manu, the Kumaras, Kapila, Prahlad, Bhishma, Sukdev Goswami, Yamraj, Janaka and Bali Maharaj. By mental speculation, one cannot ascertain what is religion or self-realization. Therefore, out of causeless mercy to his devotees, the Lord explains directly to Arjuna what action is and what inaction is. Only action performed in Krishna consciousness can deliver a person from the entanglement of material existence. So, either action, inaction ka, you know, the discussion is happening. So, what action is? How do you normally understand what action is? Action क्या होता है? So, थोड़ा loudly.
कोई भी चीज़ को एक्शन ले लेना. We can take action.
Activity करते रहना. So you're just coming, walking, sleeping. These are activities that you're doing. But इसका reaction मिलता है. So इसको inaction कैसे करना है? By surrendering. Krishna consciousness. आगे Krishna explains this in detail. So that will come. But how do we make this? That is the very important part. वरना if you keep getting reaction, तो what will happen is? क्या? Loudly. So you'll not get out of the cycle of material existence. That's what the last words of the purport were. You'll never get out of the cycle. होता है ना equation है. इस equation के आप बाहर नहीं निकलोगे. And to get out of that, you have to surrender everything. क्यों करना तब आपको reaction नहीं मिलेगा. So it's not that कि आप action छोड़ दो. उसका reaction नहीं आना चाहिए. And that is how when you surrender to Krishna. जब खाते हो तो you offer prasad to Krishna. Your work, your fruits of your work, अब कृष्णा को दे दो. Keep Krishna in your mind, whatever activity you are doing. और कृष्णा के सबके पास है? Everybody, you know, everybody has Krishna.
Yes.
How? जोर से.
Parmatma.
परमात्मा फॉर्म में. It's there within the heart of every living entity. Not humans, every living entity. So even in ant, even in trees. Huh? Bacteria, yes. Every small, it's there. If you are aware of that also, You can do that. In fact, एक और easy बोला है, task दिया है कृष्णा ने. Whenever everybody drinks water, Krishna says, I'm tasting water. So whenever you drink water and just remember कि Krishna is the taste of water. Water का taste अलग अलग जगह का अलग अलग होता है. So then you can actually remember Krishna. So imagine how many times you drink, you can imagine Krishna. So that's how you can connect. जैसे trees है, trees बोले थे, if you look at तो वो उनके hair है, if you विराट रूप में. So when you see trees, what you can do? That's why ये तिलक लगाने को क्यों बोलते हैं प्रभुपाद ने कि whenever you see a devotee, what you will remember? So that's why ये तिलक लगाना, ये devotee dress पहनना. The reason was कि whenever you see a devotee, at least you will remember Krishna. और कैसे याद होता है कृष्णा का? बाय रेपिटेशन. एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स क्या करते हैं आपके साथ? एक ऐड कितनी बार रिपीट करते हैं? सो दैट बिकॉज माइंड कैसे रिमेंबर करता है? बाय रिपीटेशन. एग्जाम्स में भी आप पढ़ते हो तो यू कीप रिपीटिंग दैट वर्ड्स एंड ऑल. सो दैट इज देयर. सो यू हैव टू कीप ऑन रिपीटिंग दिस एंड दिस इज हाउ यू कैन रिमेंबर कृष्णा एट ऑल टाइम्स. योर टेम्पल आए, यू कैन एक्चुअली कीप अ ट्रैक ऑफ कि जैसे संध्या आरती होती है 7 o'clock. So whatever you are doing at 7 o'clock, you can remember कि संध्या आरती है. If you have time, you can read Gaur Aarti, Narsinga prayers, or whatever. Or you can follow the full cycle of the temple. Whenever you get time. कि चलो आज 4:30 हो गया, चलो what's happening? तो temple खुलने का time हो गया. Even if you not get up, but at least you know. 7 o'clock, 7:15 Shringar Darshan है. Then 8 o'clock is the Bhagavatam class. You can actually remember this. So by this you can actually remember Krishna. Agree, disagree? Is it easy or hard to follow? इसके लिए प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा. जैसा है चैंटिंग में जब आप लोग ने फर्स्ट राउंड फिनिश किया था हरे कृष्णा महामंत्र का, तो इजी था डिफिकल्ट था? एक करके. बॉय मेन सोल इन मेन बॉडी, चलो और स्पिरिचुअल फॉर्म में. फर्स्ट राउंड जब फिनिश किया था पहली बार, अच्छा ओके. क्योंकि लोग फर्स्ट राउंड फिनिश करने को भी एकदम वो हो जाता है बिकॉज माइंड कंट्रोल नहीं किया होता ना कभी, तो वैसा है. सो दैट इज देयर. तो इजी था फर्स्ट राउंड चैंट करना या 16 राउंड पहली बार कंप्लीट करना? So that's how you have to keep remembering Krishna. और उसके लिए किस चैप्टर ऑफ द भगवद गीता में कृष्णा ने अपना विराट रूप बताया?
11.
Yes. So that's how it is. Any other questions? Okay, so Monday को क्या है? So Nityananda. So we'll discuss something about Nityananda. Ready? Yes. Okay, so Nityananda Mahaprabhu was born where? Year. So the question is Nityananda Prabhu was born in which year? Online Google मत करना. So Nityananda Prabhu was born in Ekachakra, as they said. 1474 was the year they were born. Okay, and Nityananda Prabhu was expansion of Balram. Balram came in this, and he was elder to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu, when he was 13 years old, his guru came, Lakshmi Tirtha. I'm sorry, name I'm just for ऊपर नीचे होगा, Lakshmi Tirtha, and he took him for 12 years across India. जैसे it's compared to what Balram did when the Mahabharata was happening. He was not there. Then 12 years बाद he, by insistence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came and उनका meeting हुआ Chaitanya Mahaprabhu और Nityananda Prabhu का. So then that meeting happened. Nityananda Prabhu was 32 years old, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was 20 years old. And on the instance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu became a householder and he married. I'm forgetting the name of his wife, but the Janma Devi, yes. So he got married and he preached, chanting the holy names door to door. घर घर जाके they were trying to preach कि chant the holy names of the Lord. Because कलयुग का क्या धर्म है? हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम। यज्ञ करना युक्त नहीं है इसका, यज्ञ करना, बड़े बड़े मेडिटेट करना, यज्ञ क्यों नहीं पॉसिबल है? क्या बात है, आजकल A2 घी मिलता है तुम्हें। I know. So ingredients are not pure and the chanting brahmanas are not pure because Vedic mantras chant करने के लिए require a lot of qualification. But that is not for the normal Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There is no qualification here. But when you chant the Vedic mantras, एकदम you have to be very perfect in that. और ingredients का quality superior होना चाहिए. इसलिए you know a lot of people ask कि ISKCON में यज्ञ क्यों नहीं होते? होते हैं, but it's not encouraged that much as the chanting of the holy names is encouraged. द रीज़न इज़ कि आजकल इंग्रेडिएंट्स का क्वालिटी, अब घी के बारे में तो आपको सबको पता ही है कि व्हाट क्वालिटी ऑफ घी दैट यू गेट एंड यू कैन ट्रस्ट एनीबडी। तो सोचो बाकी इंग्रेडिएंट्स जो लगेंगे उसका क्या। सो दैट्स वेयर द चैलेंज वाज। तो नित्यानंद प्रभु वेंट टू हाउस होल्ड। सो द बिगेस्ट पास टाइम वाज जगा इन मदाई। सो नित्यानंद महाप्रभु एक दिन चैतन्य महाप्रभु नित्यानंद प्रभु को और हरिदास ठाकुर को बोलते कि आप घर घर जाओ और प्रीच करो। सो मार्केट प्लेस में वहाँ पे दो भाई रहते जगाई मदाई। सो वो लोग ना अल्कोहल के इन्फ्लुएंस में बहुत ज़्यादा रहते थे एंड दे वर फाइटिंग बिटवीन देमसेल्व्स। तो नित्यानंद प्रभु बिकॉज ही इज़ बीइंग वेरी मर्सीफुल ही वेंट टू जगाई मदाई एंड से चैंटिंग। तो वो दोनों मारने को आए। सो यू नो इसलिए वी डोंट गो बाहर में मत चले आना वरना टेल देम टू चैंट। सो एंड दे रैन अवे। सो जगाई एंड हरिदास ठाकुर दे वेंट और श्रीनिवास आंगन आ गए। आफ्टर फ्यू डेज व्हाट हैपेंड वाज कि नित्यानंद प्रभु आ रहे थे कहीं से इवनिंग में एंड सो दे जगाई मदाई फाउंड आउट कि ये थे जिन्होंने उस दिन हमें तंग किया था। सो अंडर द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ अल्कोहल ऑब्वियसली दे जगाई तो मारा नहीं पर मदाई हिट हिम विद अ पॉट, घड़े से सर पे मार दिया एंड ही गॉट हर्ट एंड चैतन्य महाप्रभु गॉट टू नो। तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु वॉज सो एंग्री कि उन्होंने सुदर्शन चक्र निकाला। बिकॉज हु इज चैतन्य महाप्रभु? कृष्णा एंड राधा, कृष्णा इन डिवोटी फॉर्म। सो देन नित्यानंद प्रभु स्टॉप्ड हिम। इमेजिन द मर्सी कि यू नो उसको आपके सर पे घड़ा फोड़ दिया और आप उनको माफ़ कर रहे हो ना। इधर तो पैर लग जाता है तो भी पीपल डोंट होता है ना, पुशिंग होता है, ये होता है ट्रेन्स में यू नो एंड यू स्टिल see people fighting. So then he said merciful and he said and what logic he gave to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu कि जगाई ने मेरे को आपको रोका था मदाई को मारने को, पॉट फोड़ने पर इसने तो भी कर दिया, गलती हो गई यू नो एंड दे वर अंडर इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ अल्कोहल तो छोड़ दो। सो देन जगाई एंड मदाई बिकेम डिवोटीज एंड दे वर स्टार्टिंग 2 लाख राउंड्स अ डे। हम लोग कितना करते हैं? 16 राउंड कितना होता है? 16,800 कुछ ना, 26 तो ठीक है 2 लाख नहीं वुड बी हाउ मच? सो 1 लाख नाम होता है 64 राउंड्स ब्रॉडली, मतलब हाँ तो 128 राउंड्स दे वर डूइंग। सो दैट्स रफली द होल डे दे वर डूइंग दैट, क्योंकि रफली 64 राउंड्स इट टेक्स 8 to 10 आवर्स और डबल कर लो उसका तो 10 आवर्स। सो 20 आवर्स यू आर डूइंग तो 4 आवर्स यू आर स्लीपिंग। सो दे वर डूइंग दैट एंड उसके बाद नित्यानंद प्रभु, सो ही वॉज गुरु ऑफ चैतन्य महाप्रभु ऑल्सो, नित्यानंद प्रभु, and that's how he's the most merciful one. So on Mondays, you know, Triyadashi is coming, so we pray to him so that we get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because without Nityanand Prabhu's mercy, we cannot get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Because who is most merciful? Nityananda Prabhu. And he's Avtara, he's Balram only. So all Vishnu expansions happen from Balram. So Krishna, then Balram, and then the other Sankarshan and other expansions happen from Balram. So we have to pray to Nityananda because the Triyadashi is coming so on that day and just chant more if possible so that we get the blessings of Nityananda Prabhu. So hoga? Yes. Can you do it? Yes. We chant loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And how did Nityananda Prabhu die, or in the sense left his body? So he got merged with a DT. एका चक्र के पास ही है, बमकिंग रहा है जो वरुण प्रभु का नाम है. So he merged with that DT. और चैतन्य महाप्रभु कौन से डीटी के साथ मौज हुए थे? यस, टोटा गोपीनाथ. टोटा गोपीनाथ इज इन पुरी. या, सो दैट इज देयर. So any other questions? Or we can end the class now. So today, Prasad is there, bro. Prasad is there at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. So today 7 o'clock is Nityananda Prabhu stories is going on, and the Katha is going on. So it's in down Vrindavan Hall.
From 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. So you can listen to that, and after 9 o'clock you'll have Prasad. So thank you. We close this class by loudly chanting Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yes. Yeah, Dilip Prabhu.
This Katha will be online also?
Yeah, it will be online. Iskcon Juhu के पेज में available होगा. Sure.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.